This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network.
All right, how you getting on? You well? You well? Well, it's a big show. My big show. Good Boy is coming out next week, next Wednesday. My wife doesn't understand this Wednesday and next Wednesday. I say this Wednesday, and she means, and she will literally say to me, does that mean next Wednesday? And I'm like, baby, you're a cracking bird. You got a brain the size of Texas. Why you gotta be so dumb? Why you're very much brighter than me. So that's fine. I never make her feel. She makes me feel silly, you know. But it's cute right now, you know. The times that I'm really dumb and I do things to jeopardize and put the family in danger is cute now. Who knows? Who knows if that'll compound over time? But yeah, so you should understand. So just if you're also like my wife and you don't know the difference between this and next, it's not this Wednesday, it's next Wednesday. All right? So there you go. I'm glad I clarified that. I'm actually sitting here in RTE right now, in the car park of RTE. I'm about to go in just to do a few last minute bits and just thought I'd take it in. Do you know what I mean? Now, security's mad in here. Ever since your man drove his car into the front of reception after already storming the stage when he made Pat Kenny thank him for calling him a piece of shit. So security's a bit... Now you can climb over the gates quite easily, which I have done. I have done a few times. But yeah, no, look, I'm here in RTE, Radio Telefiche Anal, and that's actually all I have to talk about. No, it's not. What else going on? Yeah, I'm very excited about it. Sorry, I'm going to be plugging it. And next week, I'm going to have on the show writer and director Fergal Costello and writer and performer Hannah Mamlis will be joining me on the podcast to talk about... I actually don't really know. I don't want to be able to ask some questions. You know, what are your inspirations? You know, if God exists and you meet him at the pearly gates, what would you like? What would you like to hear from him? You know, I'd like to hear. You made an impact on everyone that I'm telling you though. No, do you know what? No, do you know what? I will. I fucking will, right? I'm going to tell you this now. No, it's nothing bad. A show that's a thing me and Fergal made. Well, Fergal made, and I was in it. Something Doesn't Feel Right. If you're a long listener to this podcast, you might remember that I did a horror film, comedy film. Sorry, he hates when I call it a horror film. A comedy film set in a kind of horror world. Where you kind of see the kind of minutiae of what a serial killer might do. I play Zipface, right? And we made it, and it was great. And went down a storm at the Galway Film Fleadh. And it's done various like festivals and stuff like that. And it's on Disney Plus now. You can watch it. Something Doesn't Feel Right on Disney Plus. And I found out it was on Disney Plus. It was like on Sunday. And I was like, Terry, look at this. I took out the app. And I was like, look at that. And she goes, yeah, that's great. Have you fixed your bike? Because you're meant to go out cycling and I hadn't fixed my bike. And I was like, no. You know? And then later on, I was like, Terry, like, I'm kind of, she's like, oh, shit. Sorry. No, look. I was in organization so that this whole fucking family doesn't fall apart mode there. Sorry. But wow, that is amazing. You must be so chuffed. And I tell you, and this is, the Gary is in with his deep claws in my chest for me to even say, but I can't believe I have something on the place where I watch TV. I couldn't believe it when the Amazon thing came out. And then I saw it pop up on my dodgy box. And then I got to do that Apocalypse Clown thing. That's on Netflix. I'm on the streamers. Yet every single day, I'm like, you know. Yeah, but that was only that because that, and it was only that, you only got that because, maybe you know, they wanted someone maybe who was on the internet or something like that, or they wanted something for that, or they got you cheap or something, whatever reason. I always come up with an excuse as to why other people that are on there deserve to be there and I don't deserve to be on there. Still not there, but, in terms of actually feeling not like a fraud. But I was fucking wow. Like I'm on all the streamers that I watch. And God, fucking hell. I know you're listening to this as well, being like, all right, easy mate. But I said this to Terry. Then she made a lovely dinner, right? And I said, Terry, I can't handle this delicious dinner. I can't handle for however long, and it's not forever. I know that. All right, nothing's forever. You've good times and you've kind of okay times, mostly okay times, and you got some low times, and all these things fluctuate and they change, and nothing is guaranteed. Said it to the boys after we got off stage, Young Hot Guys in Cork, and I'm like, we don't have this forever, but wasn't that amazing, And everything's borrowed. Do you know what I mean? But for however long I have this borrowed moment, I can't take it. I said to Terry, I was like, do you ever see on a game show where they give the person like a prize and then they kind of go into the details of the prize and the person is expected to still maintain the same level of excitement throughout the whole thing? It's almost like Pimp My Ride. They show them the car and then they show them all the details and they find it hard to still be like, oh yeah, because they're still getting like loads of information. You know what I mean? On a game show, it'd be like, okay, Sheila, you've won an all expenses paid trip to New York City. And you'd be like, oh my God. They're going to fly you out first class. And then while you're there, you're going to be staying in the Sheraton Hotel. And she's like, oh, wow, you're going to be going out on an horse and carriage ride. Oh, And these are all amazing things. You're going to be eating at Gordon Ramsay's restaurant. Oh, wow. And you're going to have a spending budget of $500 a day, And by that stage, you're like, oh, look, oh, God, oh, wow. But at that stage, they're almost fatigued from all the excitement, And they're all like, oh, listen, that's great, And sometimes you're watching that and you're like, all right, oh, sorry, are we inconveniencing you with all this joy as an audience, as a participant, So I felt that when I was having dinner. I'm like, I can't handle this. Show's coming out next week. I'm on Disney Plus with a different thing that Fergal made. And this is not good. You know what? This is shit. Not shit podcasting. Sorry. It's just, I like to moan about things a lot, and I like to poke fun at things or I get wrong all the time. But it's been a good week. It was a good week. It was a good weekend. Some very nice quality time with the kids. Brought the young fella to gymnastics, and I went, and I was like, we normally take him on the bike. We have this like a Japanese kind of like electric bike. You don't need to know it's Japanese, but you kind of do need to know it's Japanese. I need to tell you it's Japanese. You know what I mean? Just so I can put myself, just put myself in a little bit of a cooler category there. It's actually Japanese. So normally we take him in the Japanese little cargo bike. But I wasn't arsed really putting like good clothes on. So I just threw on whatever, still me Crocs on, drove in the car. When I was in there, dropped them off, and I'm like, this is class now. What I get to do now is I have a Steam Deck now. Sold some old bits of kit that I wasn't playing with, and I bought a Steam Deck with exactly the profits. I've never done that before. I've never like sold things and bought things and had a net zero. So I was like, I'm going to get stuck into this. I was playing XCOM, which is like a game where it's like, strategy game where you're like soldiers against aliens. Class, right? So then I was dropping them in, looked like shit. And then they were like, oh, just, you can actually come into this today. The parents get to watch today. And I was like, oh, not because I don't want to see the pure delight seeing my young fella hanging from a bar or walking on a big beam or whatever, right? Into that. and not because I couldn't play the Steam Deck in my car. I mean, look, you know, unfortunately I couldn't play the Steam Deck. Great news, I can see the young fella. You know, who's to say what emotion triumphed in that moment? Was it more happy or more sad? Who's to say? But I was more like, Jesus, I went near me fucking rags. I went near me hoodie, me Crocs. And me, some of these South Dublin mams and dads. Not my style, wouldn't be my style, but Jesus, the trim on them, you know, they're kitted out. So I felt a bit, you know, felt a bit like a fucking Joker Folie à Deux, you know, a bit twisted. You know, they don't know I'm twisted. But he was bloody brilliant in it. I tell you though, dangerous thing though, the old Steam Deck. I was playing XCOM, and I said to Terry, I'm just playing this one mission. We have to infiltrate a base and get, you know, take down some rogue AI and take out a robot to join our crew. And I'm just playing this just one mission. And then she's like, all right, great. Well, look, I'm not waiting around for you anymore. I'm watching Inside Out 2, also on Disney Plus, as well as Something Doesn't Feel Right, the movie I'm also in Disney Plus. I'm going to watch this, and, you know, whatever. You can just take your headphones off when you're finished. The whole movie finished, and I hadn't finished this fucking one mission to infiltrate this base. And it was kind of fun, but I'm like, oh my God, that's my whole evening gone. That was pretty silly. I think I need to recognize, yeah, this is fun. Is it worth that? I've never been mad into those time sink kind of games, you know, your Destinies. I like it with like a Red Dead. You know, open up Red Dead, play it for like 2 hours. What I do was collecting berries. And I almost caught a big fish. That's great because I'm transported somewhere else. I spent an evening immersed in a different world. But as for like, click over there, click on Alien, shoot Alien, or something like Destiny, where it's like, I finally got the fucking whatever. Fucking, you know, nitro hammer or some shit. I don't fucking play Destiny. You know, I don't have time for those time sink games. So it was a good lesson. Good lesson. So mostly got it for playing like retro games. You know, because I'm done. I mean, I've been on this podcast. I was even on Instagram when I had the shits. I was feeling sorry for myself, and I was like, does anyone actually want to sell me their N64? I'm not into that anymore. Now, I will probably still pick up a few little bits, but let me tell you this. Something that I've realised is what I need to protect. I bought for like 40 quid a book called The Osborne Guide to the Supernatural, right? It was my favourite book as a kid. It had loads of scary shit in it. It had pretty much every kind of ghosty and monster in it. And I remember the cover had a skull that had the globe on it. It had like the countries kind of etched into this skull. Looked badass. Remember getting it, just being all like scared, you know, in a kind of cool kind of music book for kids. But it was still, for me, I was like, ooh, it's a bit beyond my station. Do you know what I mean? I don't even think I could read the words at the time. And I loved it. Bought it again, looked at it for a second. I was like, this is fucking shit, actually. This is shit. And now what was my favourite book of all time, held up on a fucking pedestal, is now gone. And then I'm like, oh, I'll have it. It's in a drawer somewhere. Ugh. Recently I went up to Ma's attic and I found a load of stuffed toys that I had when I was a kid. I don't even remember them. We moved from Marino to Raheny, and I don't even remember them being in my room in Raheny. So my mum must have literally put them in the Marino attic into the Raheny attic, and I hadn't seen them in years. I was very close to buying a lot of them. I actually did buy a gizmo that I had when I was a kid that I loved. He was my best friend, right? I had a little gizmo. The one I bought actually turned out to be bigger than that gizmo. And then when I actually found one in the attic, I was like, holy shit. That was tiny. I used to think it was huge. I used to wrap my arms around this thing. How cute. And then like a Buster Bunny from Tiny Toon. So I also love my ma did an amazing thing of actually making clothes for this little bunny. It was amazing. So in buying the things to recreate it, every single time it's come up short. And I think it's important that you sometimes protect. Wanting is a very important thing sometimes, rather than actually getting. Getting's never as good. Wanting Maybe it's just me. I'm obsessive. But, oh, there's a squirrel behind me. Anyway, so in this whole retro game hunt, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get an N64. I'm going to get the 10 games that I always wanted to play, and then I'm going to complete them. That sounds like a fucking faff, to be honest now, in real life. Setting up the wires, getting the right TV, getting the right connection, all that stuff, buying all that shit. Way better than playing Conker's Bad Fur Day. I'm not, hey, come at me, bro. Come at me, all right? I am telling you that add to cart an adapter that can change a HDMI to fit into the back of the old fucking cables. That's better. That's better than get 150 stars in Mario. I'm telling you. Maybe not, but at least starting the game. Do you know what I mean? Our attention spans are different. So I got this Steam Deck to play all the games. I have this list of games I watched my brother beat. Now, because he's a better gamer than me, because he was older at the time. So Mega Drive, SNES, right? He would have beat games. And then when we're getting into PlayStation, I would have fucking trounced him. Apart from FIFA, of course. And apart from Pro Evo. Apart from those games, I trounce him. Right? Even Mario Kart, I fucking handed his arse back to him on a plate. My brother Andy. Alright, so, but there's a lot of games I saw him beat that I couldn't beat. I just didn't have the dexterity, didn't have the ability. So I want to play those games. And what's amazing now about playing them on like a emulated, right, or like on a Steam Deck or something like that, is that there's a lot of things like save states and quality of life improvements. Look, these games are hard, right? They were created at a time when video games were not vying for all of the entertainment, all of your attention. They were pretty sure that by setting a price tag of fucking 50 quid and knowing the kids had one game maybe every like 4 or 5 months, and that was it, and they would play this game for 5 months, they could make it that challenging. These days, you get a 40 games loaded up on your PlayStation, you could just jump straight into another one. As soon as that kind of dopamine or the challenges is just a little bit too hard, you could just boot up something else. I find myself doing it all the time. So by having something like a save state, like having something like playing, getting to a part in a underwater Sonic level that you can't seem to get to the bubble to breathe to get to the next part, rather than playing the whole thing over again, or rather playing back from the checkpoint, you can just load the save state, load from right before you died, and then do it differently. I'm all for that. I'm all for save scumming. It's a bad word in video game. It's save scumming. People saving it and then just replaying and just moving incremental, however you want to play. So I got for that. But I'm telling you, you do need to protect yourself sometimes against. You have to hold on to nostalgia. Nostalgia's beautiful. It's fake. But for me, it is kind of part of my identity. I'm such a sucker for nostalgia. So that's why, like a Star Wars trailer that has a John Williams score, a trailer I was given out to that actually birthed this podcast, is going to be better than what you actually get. Always. Always. Are you telling me that the summer of looking forward to The Dark Knight Rises wasn't better than The Dark Knight Rises? Of course it was. I'm telling you. You need to protect wanting. You need to protect the possibility. Because the reality will let you down every single time. Apart from the actual Dark Knight, that was, everyone was so fucking stoked for it, and it was actually even better. Even better than people dreamed. What a flick. Not to say that, if you're a collector or whatever, feel free to collect things, Not going to lie, sometimes I like to look at like a cartridge and just see what's going on there. Look at a box art, In other news, I'm, as far as I know, because they haven't told me I'm not, still going to be on the Late Late Show on Friday the 11th of October. They had me what they said was penciled in, are still soon yet to confirm, but I am currently penciled in for the Late Late Show on October the 11th, Friday. So you will either see me on there, or you will see someone who they thought was better than me. Look, no, it's no big deal. Maybe Tom Hanks is a flick out or something. I don't know. Tom Cruise. Maybe Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise, and Meryl Streep have a flick out that I didn't know about, that they need to promote now. So we'll see. Look, we'll see. But in other news of that, even if I don't get on the Late Late Show on Friday, it doesn't matter, because I'll tell you why. Because on December 12th, I am putting on my very own toy show in Vicar Street. It's called the Late Late Tony Show, a toy show done right. Shots fired. And it's going to be me doing the toy show that I always wanted to. If you came to the Bureau de Change Song Contest and you had a good time and you thought, why couldn't Eurovision be more like this? I think you're going to be walking out of the Late Late Tony Show, a toy show done right, on December 12th, feeling the same thing. Right? I have been watching... that was like the second episode of this podcast was reviewing the toy show. I've been reviewing the toy show for years, ever since this podcast was invented, right? Even when I was in London, we would watch the toy show. We always watched it. You'd watch it, get fairly steamed, and it's actually it's not great, it's pretty boring. But I've always been very opinionated on it. So I'm going to be having my own thing. It's going to have jaw-dropping celebrity guests popping in. It is going to have some festive surprises and freebies, some incredible musical numbers, and it'll also probably have me realizing that's actually pretty tough gig, and maybe I should lay off the hosts for not being better. But I'm striving to make it better. I'm striving to make it a new annual cultural institution. But that should be on sale on Friday. So I'll maybe announce that when I'm on the Late Late Show on Friday, the 11th of October. Penciled in. So we'll see you there. And please do check out Good Boy show that I'm very, very proud of. I've seen it now, and I love it. And again, this is like that kind of, it's not real. It'll come out. Some people might like it. Some people might hate it. Hopefully it's one of those either 1-star or 5-star jobbies. 1 star, says Donald Clark from the Irish Times. There's only 1 star, and that's Tony Cantwell. 5 stars. No, you're probably going to have had to go with him on Twitter, Anyway, but look, you'll be hearing from me next week as well. And if you've listened to this podcast, if you've liked anything I've done, could you please do me a solid? And on October 16th, on the RT Player, could you please endure 7 ads? You can put them on mute, right? And then watch Good Boy. And just, even if you're not going to watch it all, just leave it on so that it looks like you watched it, so that we can maybe make another season of it, because it's probably one of the more creatively gratifying things I've ever done. Look, after all this shit, I'll get back to more relatable content, all right? I'm just in a bit of a fucking bubble right now, and I'm loving it. But it'll be back to me being like, shit myself. I have to get a colonoscopy. That's coming up. Do you know what I mean? Relatable material. That's all coming up. So don't you worry. Right now, I'm just kind of, I'm in press mode. But look, thanks very much for listening to this podcast. I love you so much. I love you dearly. All the best. Bye-bye.
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with Head Stuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.